I was talking to Paula earlier, and she asked that we go through this same workshop again, because it's so funny. It's almost as if Eunice and I planned today, and we didn't. Eunice and I hadn't spoken since last year, I don't guess. For her to be talking about relationships is perfect, because we're going to be talking today about how to sort of lead small groups, and most of the talk that you hear me doing today will be talking about how do you build relationships with people in short amounts of time. And so we're going to go through this today, and I think that in about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, we'll take a 10-minute break, just so you'll kind of know as you're headed that direction. We'll do about 30, 35 minutes, we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and work together some more on this. Is that good with everyone? Good. Well, I do want to tell you just a quick bit about me. Alvin was right. I was born in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I moved to Canada in April of 2006. I have 3 teenage children. One of them is Daphne. She's 15 years old in grade 10 at ECI. I have a grade, is that bad? I shouldn't have said ECI. Yeah, ECI, like Etobicoke Collegiate. Do you know her? Do you go there? No, okay. And then I have my middle daughter, Madeline, is 13, and she's in grade 8. And then I have a son that's Nathan, and he's in grade 7. And they're great kids. We moved here after living in North Carolina all of our lives. All 5 of us had never left North Carolina, and I moved to hang out with Alvin at the Baptist Convention. I was a youth pastor for about 12 years in the same church, and have been working with teenagers for a long, long time. And some of you may have heard of another group that I worked with called the American Red Cross. I was in charge of collecting blood. That's fun, isn't it? Down in North Carolina for a long time, too. And so, you know, these days I spend a lot of my time with people your age and people who are leading people your age, with youth pastors and pastors, but also with students like yourselves. And the thing that I'm finding as I'm moving about, talking to people like you and talking to adults who are in charge of youth groups, is that building relationships has become the #1 thing that people say is most important about trusting someone else, is that you have to have a relationship with someone before you're willing to share anything personal with them. How many of you would agree with that statement? Raise your hand. Yeah. Tell me your name in the back there that's waving like Mickey Mouse. Yep, right there on your. What's your name? Say it again. Karina. Why do you think it's important to build relationships with people in order for you to have the ability to trust them, Karina? Oops. Yeah, you want them to know you, right? Yep. And Karina, just like we've already done this morning, what are some ways that you go about building relationships with people? Yep. Yep. Good. Yep. Somebody else, Tim, what are you thinking? What are some ways that you build relationships with people? Talk. Yeah. That's good. It's interesting, since you weren't doing that, and then all of a sudden you talk to tell us that you talk to people. What do you mean talk to them? Yeah, kind of like today, right? How did you get to know the people in your group? You ask them questions about themselves. That's good. The thing that I really thought was cool is when we were getting to know Francis over here on this side in our group number 7, we were asking Francis all these questions, and then pretty soon as we began to talk, Francis began to give us information before we actually asked him that question. That's cool, isn't it? That all of a sudden you get to this place where you feel comfortable enough to where you're not just responding, but you're giving information about yourselves. And so the whole premise of today is that it is all about relationships. And I'm still working on a master's degree, and every paper, there I go spitting again, sorry about that. Every paper that I write, I always put at the front of it, it's all about relationships. If it has to do with theology, I write, it's all about relationships. If it has to do with business, I'm taking a human resources class, I write, it's all about relationships. And in every part of life, I believe now, in my family, in my work, in the place I go to church, in my neighborhood, it's all about relationships. So if there's one thing that I want you to learn today before you leave, it's what? It's all about relationships. Tim, thank you. I don't know if you're tired of me saying that yet, but that's exactly what I want you to walk out of here with today. Now,